At this time of year, perspective shifts away from calving cows towards the next stage of the farming calendar, bulling. We have started keeping our own replacements on farm, which is great for herd health and longevity, but it can make things a little confusing. Today, we need to sort out some cows that have calved, as well as amalgamate a couple of groups and move them into their respective mobs, ready for the summer. Most people drive past a field of cows and never cast an eye. For those that do, they rarely appreciate the headaches and heartbreaks that goes into getting them there. It's a story of quiet toil, the kind carved into calloused hands and written in the silence between hoofbeats.
So this morning, Dad's been and got some cows in from the side of the drive, out of the field that we call the calving field. It's where we tend to chuck everything once we get most of the way through calving. We just chuck them in there, we loaf them, and we feed them and whatever else. And they can calve out there, and then we sort them out of that group. The interesting bit, however, is the fact that because everything gets chucked in there, we've got cows that need to go in every which direction on the farm. And that's going to cause a bit of work. So the calves in here need to be finished off. They have got one tag in, they need the other tag in, they need castrating, some might need dehorning. We also then have some cows that need to go in with the Dysons. We've got some cows that need to go in with the older stabilizers, and some need to go out to Thornton. And this is where it all starts to get a little bit more complicated, because we're trying to sort them out now so that they're in the right place ready for bulling, so we don't have to sort them out again. And that's complicated because we have got cows that can't go to some bulls, and we've got some cows that can't go to any bull. We've got some cows that can only go to 1 or 2 bulls, and we're going to have to just jiggle them around to make sure they're in the right place. For example, the heifers this year, we have got a nice group of bulling heifers, but we haven't got a bull that they can go to. So we've got to go and buy a bull for the bulling heifers. That sorts that group out perfectly fine. We currently, however, have a group of first calved heifers that are on some priority grazing that are now going to go in with the Dyson cows, because there's 25 Dyson cows. Then there is these first calved heifers, and they can go in a group together, create a just shy of 40 in a group, and they can all go to Wizard, because the Dysons can go to anything. And that's where the simplicity ends, because the first calf heifers, they can't go in with Yeti, because he's the dad of some of them, which means that Wizard has to go in that group. That's fine, we can sort that out. Yeti, therefore, needs to go in with the main group of stabilizers, and Apollo and 007 can go out to Thornton. That just means that we need to buy this new bull for the heifers, the bulling heifers that are currently about 13 months old, and then we should have all of our bases covered for the next 12 months. But I tell you now, it's making my brain hurt.
Before we start messing with cows and calves, we must first prepare their tags. We always run plain fronted tags in one ear of our stock. We mark it up with the bull's prefix to help us easily identify its sire in the future. We then take the cows out of the shed and sort those that have calved from those that haven't.
I want a list. What number are you? Yeah, you want to go back. I want to go back. Come on.
It was all going so well until this happened.
Ah, yeah. We might run like cows, but 600 kilos is still heavy when it stands on your toes.
That's right. This wise guy chooses warmth over safety and wears neoprene-lined wellies instead of steel toe caps. We then take 7 of the cows left to calve and put them back in the calving field. We then head back to the shed and remove the calves from their mothers. We do this for the safety of the calves and also for the people who are working with them. We usually use the crate when handling calves. This is because it keeps the calf secure and stops it thrashing around whilst we're handling it, and also makes it much safer when we're dehorning. Whilst our stabilizers are all polled, our Chevrolets are not, and that means that this calf has got to have the full works: ear tags, anaesthetic, painkiller, dehorning and castration. We then sort the mothers out and put them into their respective groups before putting them back with their calves.
So everything's about sorted out. We've got the 2 ready to go into the Dysons down there. We now need to put the first calf heifers in with those. We've got the others still in the pens at the back, and they can stay till after dinner. Now we've just got to go and run the first calvers in. But luckily, Dad prepared them earlier.
Dad had already brought the first calf cows to the side of the drive, ready for the move. After a little coaxing, they were in the shed, and the Dysons were added in, and they were ready for the off.
Come on ladies, let's go. Hup, hup.
These girls have got one of the longest journeys on our farm, down the bottom roadway, across the garage field, and up the Tule field, ready to join the main herd of Dyson cows.
So someone was asking me how the Dysons were doing, so I thought I'd give you a little bit of an update. We have now calved 24 of the 25 Dysons. One of the 7 left to calf is a Dyson, but we knew it was going to be later in the pattern because it just was when we bought it. And from them we've got 24 live calves. We've not helped any of them calve. They've all got up and sucked on their own, and honestly they've just been a hell of an investment. What a purchase. When we bought them they were a little bit on the leaner side, but they have put flesh on, just like, I mean, stabilizers for you. They just put flesh on and they look great. So they've run in now with the heifers, and they'll stay together now until the bulls come out. And then when the bulls come out, everything will go in together. That's just moving the water trough, ready for these girls to have a bit of fresh water and a bit of fresh grass for the day. And look at that, what a picture. Stunning. I do love it up here. It's one of my favorite paddocks, but it's a fair trek from the yard. Well, it's not a long way, but it is for us.
The final Dyson cow has now calved, a sprightly little heifer calf. That makes 25 cows bought, 25 calved unassisted, and 25 suckled without any help. A true testament to what the stabilizer breed is capable of. We then head to the Glebe Meadows to move the main mob of stabilizers back over the road to the home farm. It's just a short walk of about 100 metres, but we do stop the traffic as the move involves going round a dangerous corner. I always find that there are 2 types of drivers in this situation. Those that enjoy seeing the anachronistic view of cattle being driven down the road, and those that see it purely as an inconvenience.
I love doing big moves like this. Makes me feel like a proper cowboy. You know, like without the horse or the hat. Actually, it makes me nothing like a proper cowboy, but you get my point. I feel good.
We then drive the cattle over a stubble field destined for a herbal lay and onto their new pasture. Turns out, it's thirsty work. It's then back to the yard to load up the cattle for Thornton. 2 cows and 2 calves onto the Ivor Williams. The calves can be difficult to get onto the trailer when they've never done it before. This usually involves a little manhandling. The cows, however, know exactly what to do.
And now, I've got an emotional goodbye.
Some of you will remember that Michael from Tanko dropped a twin satellite wrapper off with us last year. I had hoped that he'd forgot about it. However, my luck ran out, and Michael wants it back. Our local independent machinery dealer, Catley Engineering, is having an open day this week, where Tanko are showcasing their equipment lineup. I thought it only fair to give her a quick swill off before heading up to Catley's yard. Colin told me to drop it in front of the NC trailer, so I did exactly as I was told. Goodbye, Rapper. It's been a pleasure.
So we use a nutritionist called Mustafa Salawu, and he came this morning to have a look at our cattle, and he's a real wizard when it comes to cattle nutrition. Really smart man, does loads of science, loads of scientific papers and such like. And he came and looked at these and he was over the moon with how they looked. He said that they've got a nice amount of height to them, they've got a really good shape, they've got plenty of condition, and I was pleased, to be honest, I'm not going to lie, because these have been a labour of love for us over the last 12, 13 months, and to get them to this point now where they're nearly ready for the bull and they look as good as they do, makes you feel good. This is what farmers live for. When you're a farmer, that's what you do the job for. Like, yeah, you can make some money if you get it right and you can live a nice lifestyle, but just when you look at them, it makes it all worth it. So this morning when Mustafa was here, I was chatting to him about making better quality silage, because if I'm honest with you, I think it's our weak point. I think we often make silage that's a little bit too dry, not got enough feed value in it, perhaps could be a bit better. Sometimes we nail it and that stuff gets fed to the young stock, but if I'm honest, the silage we make, I want to make really good silage, and then if we want general purpose stuff, we can make that in the form of hay and feed that to cows and such like. And he was saying to me that one of the things that a lot of dairy farmers will do is they'll take silage when it's very leafy, and you see that all the time if you drive around the countryside. They might do that Dutch 5-cut system where you take about 5 cuts throughout the year and maybe you only have 28 days or so between mowings. He said that's great, but within the dairy farming situation, you'll put something dry in the mix, maybe some straw or something like that, and you have your really high quality forage, but you dry it up and hold it in the rumen by using some straw. In a beef situation, you don't necessarily need to do that, and he was suggesting that the best thing that we can do is to look across a field and wait till about 1/3 of the field is headed. So if we've got seed heads on 1/3 of the grasses, that's when we want to mow. And what happens is that 1/3 of the grass is used as your dry matter, and then the 2/3 that are still leafy is your quality. And that way you can kind of get around feeding the straw and you get the rumen feel, you get the quality, you get kind of the best of everything. Now the reason why we're mowing this is because you can see here is where we've grazed to. The cattle that we've just looked at have been across this field and they've got to here, and it was just, as you can tell, getting way too long for them. So rather than run cattle across it and waste heaps, we're gonna mow it, make some really good quality silage, and then hopefully we'll be in a good position to feed this to young stock in the autumn. That's the plan. We're gonna have the bestest silage we've ever made this year. Well, I hope. I'm gonna try hard anyway. We're gonna try really hard to have some good silage.
The next morning, I got the rake hooked up. We always fold the hazard markers up for the winter to stop them accidentally getting backed into. So I dropped them down and then got to it. I'm not one who enjoys tractor driving, but raking is something I could get used to. It was then time to get the wrapper out. We used a series of D-links and the telehandler to get the wrapper out the back corner of the shed. It's a little bit of a difficult manoeuvre, but we soon get there. I hook her up, reminiscing of the Tanko wrapper that I've just had to give back, and head up to the field to chase Dad, who was on the baler. Turns out this 3-hectare patch of grass that was only mowed because it got too long for cows managed to yield 67 bales. Not too shabby. Until next time, thanks for watching.